What if I told you that FIFA 2026 won't just be another World Cup? What if I told you it will be the tournament that ends an entire generation of football? For nearly 2 decades, football has belonged to the same legends, the same names, the same icons, the same heroes. Every World Cup, every Champions League, every Ballon d'Or discussion somehow came back to them. But now, the clock is ticking, and FIFA 2026 could be the final chapter, the last dance, the moment football says goodbye to an era that may never be repeated again. An era defined by greatness, defined by records, defined by 2 men who changed the sport forever. And when the final whistle blows in 2026, football might never look the same again. This is the end of an era. There are moments in sports when a generation arrives and completely changes everything. In basketball, it happened with Michael Jordan. In tennis, it happened with Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. And in football, it happened with a generation so talented that they dominated the game for nearly 20 years. At the center of it all were 2 names, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. For years, they weren't just footballers, they were global phenomena. Children copied their celebrations. Fans argued endlessly about who was better. Entire careers were measured against impossible standards created by these 2 men. Together, they scored over 1,500 goals, won countless trophies, collected Ballon d'Or awards like they were souvenirs, and pushed each other to levels football had never seen before. But they weren't alone. This era also gave us Luka Modric, Kevin De Bruyne, Robert Lewandowski, Thomas Müller, Neymar, Manuel Neuer, and many more legends whose names became synonymous with greatness. For almost 2 decades, these players defined football. But no era lasts forever, and FIFA 2026 may be the moment reality finally catches up. There is one opponent nobody can beat. Not Messi, not Ronaldo, not anyone. Time. Time doesn't care how many trophies you've won. Time doesn't care how many goals you've scored. Eventually, every athlete faces the same battle, the battle against age. Speed begins to fade, recovery becomes harder, injuries take longer to heal, and suddenly, things that once looked effortless become difficult. It's not because the legends stop being great. It's because nature always wins. Look at football history. Pelé's era ended, Maradona's era ended, Zidane's era ended, Ronaldinho's era ended. Every generation eventually steps aside. Now, it's happening again. The stars who once seemed immortal are approaching the final stages of their careers. And FIFA 2026 could be the last time many of them appear on football's biggest stage. That thought alone feels strange, because for so many fans, these players have always been there. They were part of childhood, part of adolescence, part of adulthood. But football moves forward whether we're ready or not. Let's start with Lionel Messi, the player many consider the greatest footballer of all time. For years, there was one thing missing from this legendary career: a World Cup. Then came 2022, the tournament that completed football's greatest story. Messi lifted the trophy, Argentina conquered the world, and millions of fans witnessed a perfect ending. At least that's what it seemed. Now FIFA 2026 is approaching. Messi will be older, the physical demands will be greater, the competition will be tougher, and nobody knows if he will even play. But if he does, it could be the final World Cup appearance of the most gifted footballer many of us have ever seen. Think about that. For the first time in decades, football fans may be watching Messi, knowing there might never be another World Cup after this. Every touch, every goal, every moment could become part of his farewell. And that's what makes FIFA 2026 so emotional. It's not just about winning, it's about saying goodbye. Then there's Cristiano Ronaldo, perhaps the most relentless athlete football has ever produced. For years, people predicted his decline. For years, he proved them wrong, again and again and again. His career has been built on one thing: refusing to accept limits. Yet even Ronaldo cannot stop time forever. By FIFA 2026, he will be approaching an age where almost no outfield player has ever dominated a World Cup. Still, nobody dares count him out. Because if football has taught us anything, it's that Ronaldo loves proving people wrong. Whether he starts every game or plays a smaller role, his presence alone changes everything. But deep down, fans understand something. This could be the final World Cup appearance of one of the greatest players in history. The player who inspired millions to dream bigger, train harder, and believe longer. When Ronaldo eventually leaves football, a piece of football leaves with him, and FIFA 2026 might be where that goodbye begins. Messi and Ronaldo grab the headlines, but they aren't the only legends nearing the end. Think about Luka Modric, a player who conquered football despite every limitation, a magician whose intelligence often seemed greater than time itself. Think about Robert Lewandowski, one of the greatest strikers ever, a goal machine who spent years making the impossible look routine. Think about Thomas Müller, a player impossible to define and impossible to replace. Or Manuel Neuer, the goalkeeper who reinvented his position. These players shaped football history, and many of them may be experiencing their final moments on the world's biggest stage.